even after 10 reps, if you're doing really slow reps with a light weight, you can build fantastic shoulders that way. Hey guys, I'm Mark McKillier with Live Anabolic, and today I've got 4 great exercises for all of you guys that want to build big shoulders and big traps. And the reason most guys want big shoulders and this right here, traps, is because it makes you look really good and big when you're wearing a shirt. Those are muscles that you can see while you're wearing a shirt. Now I'm in a tank top, so it's easier to see, but still, they're impressive muscle groups that can make you look wider even when you're wearing a long sleeve shirt, for goodness sakes. And so when you look wider, of course, no matter how much weight you have around your stomach, it makes your waist look smaller because everything is relative, right? So proportionally speaking, the wider you make your shoulders look, the smaller it's going to make your waist look, no matter how much body fat you have. So the problem with doing shoulders specifically is guys my age, us guys, tend to have shoulder injuries. I mean, so many of you all watching right now have got a shoulder problem. So I've got 4 exercises. Now, I picked these because I think most of you guys, even with shoulder injuries, can do most of the exercises I'm going to show you. There's one in particular that I think might cause you a problem, and I'm going to explain it when we do it, and I'm going to tell you a workaround, all right? So you can still build big shoulders and traps at home with nothing more than some dumbbells. So the first exercise today is my favorite for shoulders, and it's an exercise that I think all of y'all should be able to do, even guys who've got minor shoulder injuries, all right? And you're gonna have to use a pretty lightweight, guys. This is all about form, all right? And these are called lateral raises. This is kind of my go-to exercise when I'm working out at the gym, all right? And this is the technique. I like to bend over just a tiny bit at the waist. I mean, not much, just that much, all right? And I'm gonna focus on lifting my elbows up, okay? Lift your elbows up, and then the dumbbells will just kind of come along for the ride. And you don't need to go very high. Just kind of get them to shoulder height, and then control the weight on the downward movement, all right? So this is the mistake I see at the gym all the time when guys are using too much weight. So they bend over, and then they use momentum to fling the weights up, and they just kind of let them fall back down. So they're not getting a lot of time under tension. You're just kind of jerking the weights up and down, all right? So this is lean forward just a couple inches, and then pull your elbows up, and then slowly bring them back down, all right? Now for all you guys with shoulder injuries, all right, I want you to use a much lighter weight than you think you need, and then just focus really on the form, okay? So if you have a shoulder injury, typically you can do an exercise if you use a really light weight, all right? But because the weight's light, you're not putting a lot of stress on your shoulders, right? So to make up for that, use really strict form, go slower with your tempo, which means you'll increase your time under tension. And that'll cause those muscles to really start burning. Even after 10 reps, if you're doing really slow reps with a light weight, you can build fantastic shoulders that way. All right, so exercise number 2 is gonna focus on our traps, okay? So that's this big muscle up here. That's the muscle that you can see from in front. Now, your traps actually wrap around, and they are in the middle upper part of your back. So this is also gets some of those muscles, because the traps really is not just a single muscle group up here over your shoulders. You get several different combinations of muscles that tie in together that are all part of your traps, but this is going to focus mainly on the muscles that you see from in front. Now guys, you're going to have to use a heavier weight. Even for the guys with bad shoulders, this shouldn't bother your shoulders at all. Matter of fact, for some of you guys, it'll actually feel good. So pick a much heavier weight, all right? And once again, I want you to just kind of bend over a little bit, all right? So just stick your ass out. You don't have to bend over about 2 inches. And I want you to just shrug, pull your shoulders up as high as you can, and then down. So the thing here, guys, is try to get as much range of motion as you possibly can, because you can't move your shoulders very far, right? So get those things up there close to your ears and then down. Now, one thing I want you to notice is I'm not just going up and down like this. So I'm bringing them up and squeezing and holding it for a 1 or 2 count, and then lowering it, not dropping the weight back down, lowering it. So squeeze up, hold, and then lower. That is an exercise that shouldn't hurt the vast majority of guys watching right now. Shouldn't hurt your shoulders, even if you have a shoulder injury. So if you can't do some of the other exercises I'm showing you, do the ones that don't hurt and do more sets of those to make up for the fact that you can't do one of the other 4 exercises. All right, so the third exercise today is the one I had in my mind that I think is potentially going to give you guys with shoulder injuries the most problems. And that is a standing military overhead dumbbell press. All right, so some of you guys, your shoulders are so screwed up that you can't even do this holding no weight. All right, so I get it. Don't do it. Don't even do it with a lightweight if this hurts you just doing this with just your own arm weight and nothing else, okay? Skip it and spend more time on the other 3 exercises that I'm showing you today. Just do more volume on those, because this is just undoable for some guys, basically. Now, for some of you all, when you do those other 3 exercises over a period of months, some guys with shoulder injuries will realize that their shoulders have gotten stronger and more stable, and you might actually be able to start doing these military overhead presses with a real light weight. Listen to your body, try it, pick a baby weight, something super light, and just do it, all right? Don't do it to where it hurts, all right? Stop listening to your body, and over a period of months, you might actually heal, or at least partially heal, some of those shoulder injuries. I've had lots of guys tell me over the years that some of their aches and pains just went away, and they're able to do exercises that they couldn't do before. So, real straightforward, guys. A lot of times I like doing these standing, but you can do them seated also, okay? So pick a relatively light weight, because once again, all this stuff goes back to using good form, okay? So I'm just gonna bring them up to my shoulders, okay? And I have to look up. I can't look straight ahead, all right? I have to look up slightly, and I'm just gonna push straight up and back to my shoulders. Up and down. I bring them down to where the flanges hit or almost touch my shoulders. And I just pick a spot kind of on the ceiling in front of me, and I stare at it, because that helps me keep my balance. If I'm looking straight ahead, that puts my neck in kind of a strained position at the top of the movement. That feels uncomfortable. That feels way more comfortable, okay? So, great exercise for your shoulders if you can do them, all right? But if you have injuries, it's cool. Skip it and spend more time on the other 3 exercises. So the 4th and final exercise today is something called a bent over rear delt fly. So when we're working on our shoulders, there's really 3 muscle groups. You got a muscle in the front part of your shoulder, and then you have a lateral head here, and then a much smaller head, a muscle head in the back here. And that's what this exercise is going to focus on. And in addition to that, most guys have never done this exercise. And so they're going to have really small, weak rear delts, all right? No problem with that, because all it means is you need to use a really light weight, 5, maybe 10 pounds, okay, when you're doing this exercise, because once again, form is critical. For you guys with shoulder injuries, I think you're going to really like this exercise. Matter of fact, if you do this consistently over the months, this may be the most beneficial of all the exercises when it comes to strengthening your shoulder joint and potentially just making your injury much less severe, okay? So I'm going to show you how to do it before I pick up the dumbbells, because the hand position is really important in this one. So I'm sitting way out on the edge of the couch, chair, coffee table, bench, you know, whatever, okay? I want you to hold the dumbbells in this manner right here with my palms facing backwards, because I want you to focus on lifting your elbows. See the common theme here? Focus on lifting your elbows with your hands in this position so that at the top of the movement, your pinky is going to be facing upwards. It's going to be at the top of your hand. A lot of guys want to do it like this, all right? So that if you open your hands, your palms are facing down. You'll be focusing on the lateral head if you do that. But when you're bent over like this, if you rotate and hold the dumbbell this way, see how it transitions? It twists the shoulder. Now you're putting more stress on the rear delt muscle. And of course, that's the focus of this exercise. It's a small muscle. It's hard to hit, so you can't use much weight. All right. So I'm just going to stare down at the ground in between my feet here, and I'm just going to lift them as high as I can get them. And then really control the weight on the downward part of the movement. Now don't bring the dumbbells back like this. I want you to bring them straight out to the side of your shoulders. And just like some of the other exercises I'm showing you today, you can cheat on this, all right? You can move your head up and down and then kind of create a swinging motion. And yes, eventually your shoulders will start to burn and you'll get a pump, but not nearly as good as far as building muscle and avoiding injury. All right, guys, you don't have to go to the gym to get a good physique. You can get a really great workout right here at home with nothing but dumbbells and a set of inexpensive bands. And I just gave you 4 great exercises to build big, boulder shoulders and impressive traps. Muscles that look good with your shirt off, in a tank top, or with a shirt on. Doesn't matter, really helps the overall appearance of your physique. But guys, remember, you got to stick with it and never give up on yourself.